Levinson, of course, Paterno. We'll get back to that in a sec. You are a big sports fan, huh? You know what's good? All the sports, Barry? I mean, you sit there. Well, you sit there Sunday and watch the Masters for 4 hours.
I would watch it. I like seeing the Master. I'm not. What I have trouble with is I don't quite connect to soccer.
Well, nor do I.
I can't quite. I look at it. I can sort of appreciate it, but I can't get in there.
World Cup, will you get into it?
We'll watch it, but it's not like I'm jumping up and down. You know what I mean, it's not the same thing for me. Maybe I came too late to the game.
Will you sit there on Sunday afternoons and watch football all day?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, you will?
Oh yeah.
Watch the Monday night game, Sunday night game. You do the Huffy thing.
It's too many days, though.
Oh, too many football.
You know, Thursday night, you got Saturday sometimes, all the Sunday from morning to night.
All right, January, New Year's Day, did you watch both the college football games? The semifinals, Georgia and Oklahoma, and Alabama and the other one?
I saw Alabama and
Clemson.
Yeah.
So you're a big sports fan.
Yeah.
And how about you're a big Oriole fan? You just talking about the Oriole game.
Yeah,
watch every game?
Almost.
Do you really?
Yeah, when I can.
You go to Camden Yards?
I go to Camden Yards when I can. If I go, down to Baltimore, I love to watch. I like to go to a baseball game. I do like, it's a long, leisurely, evening. You're there, so I don't mind that. I like, to be honest with you, they keep trying to speed up the game. I don't know why they need to speed it up.
Well, the TV, it's hard. In person, baseball, the fans who go to the game in person, look at Tiger here. Oh, that's not Tiger, but he's struggling on 11. The guy in person loves the long game. It's the guy in the TV that's sitting there for 5 hours has some problems with it. That's what they're concerned about.
Yeah.
The TV ratings sitting there for such a long time watching. Have you done what other sports movies have you done? You did this one. Have you done some other ones?
Well, I did The Natural.
That's right. With Redford. Redford good to work with?
Great. And he was a good athlete.
Yeah, he was good. I know, good baseball player.
Yeah.
Very good. You didn't have to do what Goldmeyer had to do with Garrick and Gary Cooper, run him around third base because he couldn't hit. You had to teach him how to hit.
You had to do the whole thing. Yeah. No, he could hit. He was a very good hitter. It was hard to strike him out. You know what I mean? Because a couple of times he's supposed to strike out. And Bob hit a ball, he hit a double, hit one off the wall. I said, Bob, we got to strike out here. You know what I mean? So,
and you went to Buffalo. You did. And you went to Buffalo to do that movie, did you not?
We shot it up there.
You shot up in the old baseball stadium up in Buffalo.
War Memorial, I think.
War Memorial. You shot it up. How long did it take you to do that movie?
That took quite a while because. Here's the thing. Nowadays, it would be easier. But then, if, the final game, it's supposed to be stadiums filled up. So you can get, say, 6,000 extra. 6,000 extras. So if you're going to so what's going to happen is he puts 6,000 extras by first base, which means now you're going to shoot all of the stuff that's going on in the game that's in that direction. And then sometimes if the guy throws it a little bit too far, to the left, and the guy has to reach out, now we've passed the end of the crowd. Now you see empty seats, and you couldn't fill it in then. So you had to go do it again and move the 6,000 over another 6 feet, then move them back. Then you got to move them over to third base. Now you got to move them behind.
Takes a while to do that.
It was a huge amount of time to do that.
And Redford loves baseball. I know that, right? He loves baseball. And
he loved Ted Williams. That's why he wore number 9.
Oh, he loved Ted Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. And Redford, what's the difference between Redford and Pacino?
Oh, gee. They're night and day.
They're night and day?
Yeah, they're totally different.
Different personalities, different people.
Different personalities, everything.
Everybody tells me Dinero and Pacino don't get along. Is that true?
No, I think they get along quite well.
They do.
They just did the Scorsese's The Irishman.
The Irishman, which comes out, and it's a Netflix thing coming out next year, so they get along okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah. In fact, he said something the other day. He said he wished he could work well.
Yeah, I read that quote. Yeah, Bob Dinero. I know Palminteri pretty well. He comes in here, and you did the movie that, what's it called? I'm sorry, I don't get it right at the top of my, where Chaz is in it.
No, I didn't do anything with Chaz.
Oh, you didn't? I
don't think so.
What was the movie that the mob movie about 15 years ago? No, not Bronx Tale. We know Bronx Tale. I'll think of it in a second. That's my fault. I thought you did. I thought I read that in the script that you did that. My fault on that. The sports movies themselves. You Natural. You got Field of Dreams. You have the Garrick story. There's a lot of baseball movies historically. From a baseball standpoint, 8 Man Out's another one.
Yeah, no, there was but there was a period when we were doing in production with the Natural, there was all these articles. Baseball movies are dead. You know, why in the world are they making a baseball movie? Baseball movies are dead. Because there was a long period of time from like Fear Strikes Out, almost all
Jimmy
the
Stewart,
way up,
right?
All the way up to Jim Pearsall, all the way up to The Natural, where there hadn't been a successful baseball film. And so we finally broke through, and then all of these baseball movies came after it. But there was that big drought of
Fear Strikes Out came out what, early 50s?
Early
probably?
50s, I think.
And Natural came out what, 84? I was a guess somewhere. And Field of Dreams came out what, about 5 or 6 years later than that?
89.
89. All right. So that was the first film of baseball in about a 25-year period, huh?
Yeah, that was the beginning. It was a long stretch without a baseball movie. It was like, it's like everything else. It's like, well, that's dead. No one wants to see a baseball movie. No one wants to see a Western. Nobody wants to see this. And then all of a sudden they all come back. There was a period of time, I remember there was something I was interested in. It was about World War II. Now nobody cares about World War II. And then, of course...
Now we got a million movies on Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, and all of them come. So there's always these pronouncements. No, they don't want to see this subject or that subject.
Before you go, name me the top 3 or 4 from just a movie-making thought process, camera angles, lighting, all those things. Name me the top 3 or 4 movies, say in the 20s and 30s, really kind of set the standard that was ahead of its time. Is there a couple there that if you go to a film class in college, they're going to make sure you see, because this is kind of a very new thing that they did, a new technique, a new method that had a lot to do with the development of the film?
Well, you're going back to the 20s and the 30s?
Yeah, I mean, well, going back to this, you can not go
I'll
back
go to this. I'll just go back. I mean, one, it's hard to ignore two of Orson Welles' films,
Citizen Kane,
and Magnificent Ambersons. I mean, they're both extraordinary.
Very important.
I think William Wyler's The Best Years of Our Lives, I think, is a fantastic film. I think John Ford's The Grapes of Wrath, I think
Henry Fonda
is an extraordinary piece of work. And then John Ford, I think My Darling Clementine. I loved My Darling Clementine. I like Howard Hawks' Red River.
That's a Montgomery Clift movie.
Yeah, Montgomery Clift and John Wayne. And so there's this mixed bag. And on the other hand, you can say, well, Preston Sturges in terms of, Sullivan's Travels, I think is like an extraordinary, comedy drama. And he was really quite special in some of those films that I think you look at it, you say how he did it now and how fresh it seems.
You didn't mention Gone with the Wind, Selznick. Not on that level from a developmental standpoint?
I mean, it was a big, spectacular film in its time, but it wouldn't be one that would jump out to me, as some of these others that I mentioned. Or if you go to me, On the Waterfront, I think Elia Kazan's work in that film is amazing.
From Here to Eternity, how about that?
I love that.
Because that won the most Oscars after Gone with the Wind. It won like 13 or 14 Oscars with Lancaster. And
Lancaster was great.
He was great. And so was Montgomery Clift, and obviously we all know about Sinatra, kind of saved his career, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, who in your eyes in the early days is a very significant actor and actress? You want to put Spencer Tracy in there from the 30s?
Spencer Tracy's fantastic.
Betty Davis. You want to put her?
Betty Davis is a great actress. Also, what's interesting? I know you're going to say it's crazy. For when you look at some things that Marilyn Monroe did,
really.
There are a couple of those films in there where you go, she was great in Some Like It Hot. She was great in The Misfits.
That's her last film.
Yeah, her last film
with Clark Gable.
And so on one hand, it's easy to kind of underrate her in a way, but there's something about her that you can't take your eyes off of her, and you say, I don't know, whatever that is, I'm watching her, and so I think that she was better than she was given credit for. Now, look, Joan Crawford, and if you go back to some of the movies that she did in her career, I mean, she did some, great kind of work. And what's her name? She was married to Gable.
Carol Lombard.
Carol Lombard.
Died in an Indianapolis plane crash.
Yeah, and you see her as a kind of a comedian / dramatic actress. She was quite exceptional. She did certain things this is really amazing work.
Last thing, Barry, it's amazing the uniqueness of Hollywood. All the big movie guys, Goldmeier, they all came from Eastern Europe, and they all got to Hollywood at the same time. Isn't that strange? All these big, huge, mega guys. They got there in the early 1900s and they built the film industry.
And somehow they connected to a pop culture of which they were never part of. You know what I mean? You're
exactly right.
How does which one is it? Sam Goldwyn or whatever? It was a glove salesman. Decides he's going to.
Goldwyn was a
so
glove
he's going to be. I'm going to get into the movie business and did those films that he did. It's hard to even understand. But that's also the other thing is what makes this country so amazing is that these people came in and somehow advanced our culture, pop culture. You see Billy Wilder. Billy Wilder comes over. From Europe. Hitchcock was coming from England. And they came from all these different places, from Hungary and Poland or whatever, and somehow they had a massive influence on our culture and created a gigantic industry in terms of even now in terms of the exporting of films is a big business.
Tremendous job, Barry. I learned a lot here. We're going to watch this. Keep up the good work. You're working hard.
Thank you.
Keeping up the good job. We're going to enjoy this tomorrow night. HBO tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Is that correct?
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good job, Barry. Barry Levinson, we continue here on Mad Dog.